Hey everyone, it's Thursday night at 6:30. It's actually about 6:45, but we're close to on time here. This is the Mark and Macy show. We come your way every Thursday night, and this is our big Super Bowl special. Macy, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm a little upset that football season's coming to an end, but all good things have to come to an end, and it will start up before we know it. So, taking the good with the bad.
So we'll just have to savor Sunday a little bit more
Yes.
in the big build-up. So it is the Broncos and the Panthers, and we're all awaiting Peyton Manning versus Cam Newton. So please join one of our Super Bowl segments that we produced earlier this week with former Giants wide receiver Norris Moss. That was a good time with him, definitely.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. He's a really cool guy. He gave us a cool, little story about stepping off the plane and showing up in Arizona the year the Giants were in the Super Bowl. And he even took it back to when he was in college and playing in the national championship. So it was a great hangout, blab, interview, whatever you'd like to call it. We had a great time. So definitely go check that out on our Twitter, which is Mark and Macy Show, or any of ours. You can definitely find it there.
Yeah, find us on YouTube as well. We've got all of our past shows there, plus some other content. And the only thing about Norris Moss, great guy. That was the first time I had a chance to talk to him. Great guy, has a bit of a memory problem concerning the 2003 national championship game. But besides that, he was really good to us, definitely. So it was great to have him on. Basically, our first guest. Yes, he was our first guest. So thanks to Macy, we went to the top. NFL player, big college football star as well, right to the top based on Macy's contacts. So you pulled through for us there, Macy. I knew there was a reason I had you doing this.
Yeah, you know what? We might even take the claim to fame that we had the first NFL player on Blab. So we're going to run with it.
Let's run with that until somebody proves differently. I like that.
I'll take it. Until someone can prove to us that they've had an NFL player on their Blab, live video. Right now, we're owning that title.
I'm thinking in a couple months, maybe this guy Peyton Manning won't have much to do. Maybe he can join us on Blab.
That would be really cool, actually. I mean, I don't quite know him, maybe his brother, but we could figure something out.
Well, you do have those connections. If you connect the dots, Macy knows a lot of New York Giants based on her work as a reporter and covering the New York Giants, currently for the Giant Insider still?
Yes, yeah. Obviously the Giants didn't go anywhere in this offseason, but with the coaching change and some guys showing up and leaving, there's always news going on with the Giants and with the NFL, so they're keeping me busy.
Giants players, Eli's a Giant player, brother, Peyton. I've connected the dots for you. Get to work. You can make it happen.
We'll make it happen. No, actually, I am working really hard right now to try and get one of my all-time favorite NFL athletes is Ocho Cinco. I tweeted at him, asked if he wanted to be on the show, and he gave us a follow back. So we're going to work with him, and hopefully Ocho Cinco will join us soon here on Blab.
If I'm not mistaken, Macy, you're very gracious for saying Ocho Cinco gave us a follow back. I believe he gave you a follow back.
Yes, but we are the show. And
we are the show.
My Twitter is our show's Twitter. So Ocho knows about us.
That's cool. That's very cool. And I try to make those contacts all the time. I've given up way back in terms of bringing on some NFL players, but I've got 10 or 12 to follow me on Twitter. So, hey, I'll go back to the well and give it a shot. So speaking of Peyton Manning, what's that?
It's all about networking.
That's right. That's right. Macy's teaching me. So we talk about Peyton Manning, and all the talk that I've heard about Peyton Manning this week surrounds him. Basically, everybody's written him off as this guy's not playing anymore after this season. There's just no way he's going to play another game. And I understand the injury portion of it, and I understand the riding off into the sunset with a Super Bowl championship, but I just think it's kind of interesting that nobody's leaving it up to Peyton to make the call, which he will do at some point after the season. I even heard the St. Louis Rams are interested in bringing Peyton back to quarterback for them in 2016.
Yeah, I've actually heard the same thing. And the Philadelphia Eagles were even mentioned in that conversation that maybe Peyton's the guy we need to have come in for a year and really set the groundwork and give the Eagles something to build up on with a new head coach and basically a new team. So that could be kind of interesting.
Knight Rider says defensive battle this Sunday at the Super Bowl. I think that's the conventional thinking, but you know what happens from time to time? Everybody thinks one way and things happen and it turns into a different game. But based on the rankings of these two defenses and some of the limitations with the Panthers on offense at wide receiver, and the Broncos have had struggles scoring the football, especially in the playoffs, that's what it looks like right now. Definitely. Peyton has the experience. Yes, he does. So we had some Twitter polls this week. I would love to know if you've got the results for us and where we stand right now.
Yeah, so we're starting this new thing on our Twitter, which we're trying to do a daily poll with sports, not necessarily totally sports related, but something fun. So our first question this week was, which was more fun to watch? On this, we got 60 votes, and the two options were the NHL All-Star Weekend or the NFL Pro Bowl. What do you think ran away with it?
I almost texted you right after you put that up, and I wanted an option neither. I wanted the option neither.
With that too.
I couldn't do anything with that. So actually, this tells you a whole bunch about where my thinking is. I voted NHL competition, NHL All-Star Weekend, but I didn't see any of it. So I even see it was such a negative on the NFL side that I voted for the NHL without seeing any of it. And because of where I work, I was kind of forced to watch the Pro Bowl. I was at work, it was there, and I watched a little bit of the Pro Bowl. Did you watch any of the Pro Bowl in the second half, Macy? Especially
I saw bits and pieces here and there. I didn't see too much of it. I saw more of the highlights the next day, but I didn't really tune in.
It's time. It is time. This is what we do. We take wide receivers, quarterbacks, defensive backs, and we play like 5-on-5 in the sand. That's what it is. It's basically, this is a game for quarterbacks and wide receivers to show off. Other than that, who wants to play football when you can't tackle anyone? They were not tackling people in the second half. They were like making contact with them, and then the play was whistled dead. It was crazy. It was just bad. And then they have a skills competition. You know, have like an Ironman competition or some kind of world's strongest man competition with offensive linemen like pushing huge tires, and see how far quarterbacks can throw and moving targets. And you know, the NFL Combine, I don't know if you're a Combine person, NFL Combine. I love the drill where the wide receivers run across the field and they spit the footballs at them real fast and they got to drop them. They got to catch, drop. They should do that kind of stuff. That would be great.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. And most of Twitter agreed with us also. I was voting for the NHL All-Star Weekend. That got 72% of the votes. So that was definitely a winner. Another one that we had this week was craziest moments in Super Bowl history. That could be anything. Mark, I know you had a special other category vote. So do you want to share that with us?
So Macy and I have done this show for 12 weeks, and I think she's going to slowly learn. I think she probably already has that I'm going to go the unconventional route, especially when it comes to some kind of historical perspective. So I saw David Tyree's catch. I saw Janet Jackson.
Yes.
What was the blackout.
The blackout.
These have all occurred in the last 10 or 11 years. So we've got 50 Super Bowls now. Got to give a little perspective here. If you remember it, well, I don't remember it even. I'm not quite that old, but this was Super Bowl 7. So this is 1973. The Dolphins are going for an undefeated season, and they're winning. They're going for a field goal. They eventually only won by a touchdown, and this is one of the reasons why it was actually a close game, is Garo Yepremian, who knew nothing about football. He was a soccer kicker, and back then that was a big deal in the NFL. He was like one of the few guys. Kicks the field goal. It's blocked. It bounces back to him. I don't know if you've seen the footage on this, Macy. he caught the football and he like went to throw it like that, and he like threw it and he popped it up in the air like he was trying to bat it to somebody, and a Redskins player, Mike Bass, picked it off, ran all the way back for a touchdown. That was the first one I came up with. I'm sure I could have come up with something else if I would have really given it some thought, but I wanted to throw something else out there. So what kind of results did we have for craziest moment?
So the David Tyree catch came in at 41%, with Janet Jackson following right behind with 40%. 16% said the blackout, and a lucky 3 said the other, which would be you. And I know we had a couple other people also jump in on that too. So it was pretty interesting to see if people were going for the football aspect of it, the performance aspect of it, or a technical difficulty, or whatever they ended up calling that, to see where people went.
The polls, by the way, Macy, I have to give it up to you for the polls. The polls have been great, and you did a nice job. You went the football route, you went the entertainment route, and I didn't even think of that, and that was great. I didn't make that connection. Night Rider, by the way, great comments on the side. I'm keeping track. And Stephen M. Smith, I'm going to give this guy a huge intro. So Stephen, hang on. We've got a few other things to do first.
So right now, on our Twitter account, Mark and Macy Show, we have one more poll going for today. I think it's only got a couple more hours left or so. But today's poll was the Cam Newton dab. Take it or leave it. So we want to let you guys jump in on that. And next week, we'll talk about those results. But it's been pretty interesting. It's kind of been neck to neck with those. So I'm interested to see where that goes.
I'm sorry. See, I had another option there in that one. So guess what I voted?
You didn't.
For Cam. For Cam. I voted for Cam.
Okay.
Well, I voted, but I did not vote for Cam. I said leave it, but I really didn't care. I'm okay with him dabbing. I just don't care. So I would have gone with don't care. Take it or leave it. Whatever. He can do whatever he wants. I'm good. I'm good with Cam dabbing. He seems like a good guy. I'm all right with him.
Under over 5, how many times will we see like Cam dab this weekend?
Well, I would have to go back through the history of Cam's dabbing to see at what moments during the game he dabs other than scoring touchdowns. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's mostly after touchdowns, but I think sometimes after, a big play or something, okay, he kind of throws it in there. I know he's done it too. I saw a video of it today. I don't even remember what happened, but he just like came out of this whole pile and was just, so I don't know what is, acceptable for Cam Newton.
Yeah, so our guy Stephen M. Smith says 7 times. And see, now after that explanation, I got to think that that's possible. Let me think that one over. So I think you're in range. I think that's you're going 5 is the over-under, right, Macy? Okay, we'll have to think about that. Is that going to be the next poll?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
Maybe Sunday's poll question.
All right. Do we have any other polls to go through?
No, that's it. So, if people have ideas of a cool poll or something they think would be fun, anything in sports, send it our way, and maybe your poll will be the poll of the day.
Macy, I know you're really creative with these polls, and I appreciate it. I really do. I think they're really cool. Let's not forget, though. Let's get one poll in, just winner. Broncos, yeah. Panthers. Yeah. So let's get one of those in. Okay.
No, that will actually probably be Sundays. That will be the Super Bowl poll.
But then you're going to have people voting after the game's over.
Oh, true. So it's 24 hours. I guess I'll have to start it 6:00 Saturday because it's 24 hours.
All right. We'll need to do that. Are we ready for a guest here? Guest caller.
He's confusing me. Every time I see his name, I think it's Stephen A. Smith. And I'm just getting ready, like reamed out or something.
That kind of caught me off guard when I initially knew Stephen as well. So, Stephen, hang on for just a second. I got to give you a big, big introduction here because Macy doesn't know you. This guy comes on Mark Rogers TV from time to time. He writes for Touchdown Alabama, and then he could give you a litany of other media outlets and platforms that he writes and broadcasts for that I can't get into. But it's Touchdown Alabama, Stephen M. Smith, Mr. Alabama. This guy is insane when it comes to SEC football and Alabama in particular. And he needs to boost the energy just a little bit. So, Stephen M., I'm asking for you just to boost the energy just a little bit, because you're usually just kind of drained and subdued. Yeah. All right. Let us know what you got for us here, Stephen. Super Bowl on Sunday. Broncos and Panthers. What are you thinking about? Uh-oh. No audio from Stephen. This is a shame, Stephen. We really want to hear from you. So we'll ask you to click out, come back in, we'll give it a shot, and meanwhile, we'll talk some more Super Bowl. All right. Do we have anything else to go to? Cam Newton has a great career ahead of him. Somebody's going out on a limb, Knight Rider.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, I think it's pretty fair to say with what, you know, Cam Newton has demonstrated so far at such a young age. He's got the talent and has all the potential if he just keeps his head on straight and stays focused and continues to just get better. I think that's where a lot of NFL quarterbacks have an issue, is once they have a good season, they think they're great. But you're only going to get better if you keep learning. And if you're not learning, then your career isn't going to go anywhere.
You'll be happy to know, Macy, you're on point, according to Knight Rider.
Thank you.
So did you hear this comment? Stephen, we'll get to you in just a second. Did you hear this comment, Macy, this week that Cam made a comment, or it was brought to his attention during media day, that he is the LeBron of NFL quarterbacks? And then he made the comment that maybe LeBron is the Cam Newton of NBA forwards. And for some reason, a lot of people had a problem with this. Stephen A. Smith is one of the guys that had a problem with this.
I did not hear that comment. That's very interesting. I'm not even sure where I fall on that side, if I agree, disagree. I think there's no one like LeBron James. You know, I'm not like a big LeBron James supporter, but LeBron's a good athlete, and you can't take that away. And when someone's just a tremendous athlete, they're a tremendous athlete. I don't know if Cam has proved enough to us yet to say he is the LeBron. I don't know. I really don't. You got me totally off guard there. Well, really. I'm going to say we haven't seen enough.
You're right there in the Stephen A. Smith camp. You explained it pretty much the same way he did, without all the. Yeah, I won't go into my Stephen A. Smith impersonation, but you pretty much.
Knight Rider just said, don't compare, be who you are. And I agree with that. Be who you are, be yourself. Don't try and be someone else, because if you're someone else, then you have to follow in their footsteps and follow what they did. Set your own record, set your own path, and have people want to be like you. Definitely.
So if I understand what you're saying, and I'll make Michael Jordan kind of the standard in basketball or sports, that if somebody's new on the scene, they're dominating the scene, he's the Michael Jordan of soccer, whatever. That's kind of the, okay, he has reached this level, but that's the standard. So to Cam Newton's defense, he didn't say it. He didn't ask the question. He was just kind of playing a word game there, and he just kind of flipped it around. And I thought it was kind of cute, and it was fine. I don't think he meant any disrespect to LeBron James. And anybody who follows the NFL and follows the NBA as well knows that LeBron James has accomplished a ton more in his career to date than Cam Newton. All right, we ready for Stephen M. Smith? Here you go, Stephen. Bring us something up about Super Bowl 50 here. Don't think we got Stephen M. Sorry, sir. We've got no audio.
Is Kevin still here? I know Kevin wanted to jump in. Kevin, are you still here? If you are, you can call in now, and let's talk Super Bowl 50.
And you know, Knight Rider, you are a faithful viewer here and providing so many comments. So if you want to make a comment on the air, jump to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone, jump in. If anyone has, a prediction, a comment about everything that's going on with Super Bowl 50, anything.
I would love to hear somebody, Macy, predict the Broncos to win this game. I've heard nothing but Panthers predictions, and something tells me that somebody here is going to pick Denver to win this game. I just have a feeling. I just got a feeling. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we definitely will.
Okay, regardless of who wins the game, what kind of game do you want to see? Are you big into really high scores, crazy games, a lot of passing?
I'm not. I don't like those high scoring games. I worked in arena football for a long time.
Yeah.
So it kind of reminds me of that. And arena football is such a totally different sport than the NFL or college football. So I'm going to say, who doesn't want a close game? I definitely don't want a runaway blowout, but a close game would be cool. I kind of like that nail biter all the way to the end, where you have to watch. I don't like one of those games where you have to just look and say, what else, what other snacks can we eat? Because, no one ever wants to look more to the commercial than the game itself. And I feel sometimes that's what happens in the Super Bowl. So I'm just hoping for a close game that goes all the way down to the wire.
So Barb is hoping for a Broncos win, even though she may not be predicting a Broncos win. She says, of course, the Broncos have to win. And Knight Rider says a 3-point game. I don't know who he's predicting to win. So I got to say, Macy, that you impress me more and more every week. And this time it's because you seem to be more of a football purist that doesn't just love the high-flying, high-scoring football in the air all the time. You'd like to see a good running game?
No.
Like to see some defense?
Absolutely. You always want to see a good running game. I think that's always fun. Defense, just as a Giants fan, I look back to how the Giants pretty much won the Super Bowl for them both years. And I think that's what made it fun. Especially if a good defense can stop a great quarterback, and that everyone raves about, all week. That's all the talk has been is quarterback, quarterback, quarterback. So if you have defenses that can shut these quarterbacks down, that totally changes the game. Then you have to depend on the running game. Then you have to depend on whatever's left and for everyone to be a part of the team and to get a win.
I was going to ask you for your favorite Super Bowl of all time, but that's just such an obvious question with you as a Giants fan that it's going to be the first Patriots game, then it's going to be the second Patriots game.
You'd be very surprised, Mark.
Okay.
My favorite Super Bowl was not the Giants. It was actually the Eagles-Patriots.
Really?
Yes.
You hate the Eagles. Is that the reason
I do not
lost?
I do not hate the Eagles, but I, living in the Philadelphia area, was so happy to see the Eagles still not get a Super Bowl. Because when I was younger, before I really knew much about sports, I could always hold against them, the Eagles don't have any Super Bowl wins. And if that changed, I would have nothing to go back at them with. So the Eagles losing that Super Bowl to the Patriots was probably one of my favorites.
Knight Rider likes the Giants win over the Broncos in '86. Remember it well. Close game at halftime. I believe it was 10-9. Giants win 39-20. Pretty much of a rout in that one. Pepper Johnson, LT. Yeah, Phil Simms, 22 for 25. Was crazy in that game.
If there was a year that I could be alive and be like an adult and remember things, 86 would be the year. The year the Giants won the Super Bowl, the Mets won the World Series, and Penn State won the national championship.
Oh, wow.
That is the trifecta of sports for me.
Yeah.
So if I could go back in time, 1986 would be the year that I would go to.
That's a good call. I never put that together. Yeah. So I didn't care much about the whole Giants Broncos Super Bowl. I really didn't care for as much as I love the NFL. So the Mets, I kind of adopted them. I'm an Indians fan, but I adopted the Mets because they were so good that year. And yeah, I loved watching the Mets pull that off, and it was incredible. And then Penn State, they were like the grinded out, just not flashy as they typically are with the helmets and the whole deal. But that particular team, everybody said, was overmatched, and Miami had all the studs, Michael Irvin on down the line. And yeah, that was a great game that Penn State won the national championship at the Fiesta Bowl. All right, Stephen M., we're going to give you one more shot here. Come on, pull through for us.
I have faith in you, Stephen M. Smith.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, Stephen M. What's going on?
I'm trying as hard as I possibly can right now. I'm trying so hard.
Finally. That was your last try. Then I was giving up on you.
Can you hear me?
We got you.
It's your time praise to talk. God. Praise the living Savior. Yes.
I know you can talk, Stephen. Go to it.
Oh, man.
What do you Super Bowl here? Let's not celebrate you getting on the air. Let's say something now.
All right. I will say something now. Super Bowl 50 is going to be exciting. You talk about two SEC quarterbacks, Cam Newton, Peyton Manning, that started off with Cam Newton. The guy put on our MVP show all season. I know, Mark, you mentioned the lack of receiving core there. When you have guys like Greg Olsen, Ted Ginn Jr., Jericho Cotchery, they can catch the football and make plays. And Luke Kuechly, the centerpiece of that defense, does an outstanding job. On the flip side, for Denver, it's going to start in the run game. C.J. Anderson and that offensive line, they've got to open up some holes and run the football.
I love it, Stephen M. So do you go into every Super Bowl thinking the SEC angle? Is that just automatic, or the Alabama angle? Macy, if you would follow Stephen M. Smith, this guy is just Alabama crazy. And it's not just like as a fanatic fan, he knows his stuff. So this is the only reason I bring Stephen M. Smith on. You know, you got to be credible to make it on Mark Rogers TV. And Stephen M. is one of my go-to guys right here.
I'm not going to say I take every Super Bowl. It's just SEC, Mark. I mean, it's kind of hard not to at times when you look at Alabama having 39 to 40 players in the NFL and 39 to 40 players currently on NFL rosters. But this particular Super Bowl is special to me because of Mike Shula. I mean, here's a guy that was a scrappy quarterback at Alabama from 1984 to 1986. Very scrappy quarterback under Walter Ray Perkins, a guy that became a head coach at Alabama at 38 years of age. Talk about taking $5.4 million and being a head coach at 38 years old in 2003. It does not work for the Crimson Tide at that point. And it wasn't all Shula's fault. Sanctions came in, couldn't get the kids that he really wanted to recruit, and then had the miracle 2005 season when you go 10-2. Tyrone Protho hurts his leg. But
where are you taking these conversations, Stephen M. Smith? This is like an Alabama history lesson.
I'm taking it, Mark. He goes to the NFL and is having success with Carolina. Some coaches are just NFL coaches, Mark. And Mike Shula has shown that he can work with Cam. He was able to work with David Garrard in Jacksonville. So my shout out goes to Mike Shula. If he's able to get it done, kudos to him. I'm proud of him.
We love it, Stephen M. You brought it back to the Super Bowl and brought it back to relevance with David Shula coaching Cam Newton. You got anything to say to Macy? Any questions for us before we bid adieu?
You guys, thank y'all for starting this show. I hate I could not get on earlier. I'm trying to get this podcast mic, but I dropped $30 on to work. But better late than never.
Yes, you should have dropped 35, maybe.
Should have put that extra $5 on there.
We appreciate the support, Stephen M. Smith. We're here every Thursday night. We try to get it cranked up by 6:45. So please join us.
Will do.
Good stuff, Stephen. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Will do. Definitely enjoying that. And you guys enjoy the rest of your show.
We shall.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Stephen M. Smith, the one and only from Touchdown, Alabama.
So that was interesting. Speaking of Alabama, I am actually a huge Jeopardy fan. It's one of my all-time favorite shows. And this week is College Week. And one of the questions under the category of college sports, the question strictly was just Roll Tide. And the first guy to buzz in said Auburn. I have never cringed so much in my life. And Alex Trebek didn't even know what to say. He just sat there and was like, what? Like, everyone, whether you're really a sports fan or not, knows what Roll Tide represents. And for this guy to say Auburn?
You're generally right, Macy, but believe me, I could go out there and find some people that have no idea what you're talking about. But generally, yes, you're right. First problem.
I don't know. That's pretty obvious.
I bet if I ask my mom Roll Tide, she's not going to know what the heck I'm talking about.
But college, it's only college students.
Oh, okay.
So I would think a college student would know that.
Well, see, I thought the first problem was that he didn't form it in the phrase of a question.
No, that's the thing. But I think the category was just a bunch of different things related to college football.
And see, the second thing that ran through my head, him answering Auburn, I thought maybe he was just trying to be a smart ass saying Auburn. Because if you're going to get it wrong, why wouldn't he say Utah or Washington or something like that? But to say arch rival Auburn.
I mean, he was trending on the internet, so maybe that was his goal. I'm not sure.
He might have had a goal there. He was going to sacrifice a couple $100 to get himself a little fame. That's my guess. Otherwise, that's a huge coincidence saying Auburn for an Alabama question.
Yeah.
All right, folks.
So
this is our show every week, Mark and Macy. We've done this 12 times, so you got to jump on YouTube and help us out. Look at our other shows. We talk about all sorts of stuff. We start with sports. We usually stay with sports, but if we don't, we're not going to apologize for it. We're going to talk about whatever we want to. So I'm Macy, you said earlier that you're dreading the end of football season. You know who's dreading the end of football season more than you?
You.
Why? Because I got to come on here every Thursday night. And what are we going to talk about after football season's over? We're going to talk about non-football stuff. And baseball's not starting for 2 months.
Well, pitchers and catchers report in I think it's
less than 2 weeks. Yeah. It's coming.
So that's coming up, which is good. Hockey, the NBA All-Star break will be approaching soon.
Exactly.
Golf will be starting too, so we can talk about golf. The Masters coming up in April. We will have plenty to talk about, Mark. I'm not really worried.
It's going to be the Macy show for the next 2 months. I'll go on hiatus, and then you probably won't have me back.
No, please. So I'm going to do my weekly Tim Tebow segment. For everyone here, I do something Tim Tebow related every week. Tim Tebow was on Ellen this week. I sent Mark the link. And he is single. And no, she actually asked him who he was rooting for in the Super Bowl. And I thought that was a really interesting question because if you look at Tim Tebow, he's got history as Cam Newton as his backup quarterback, but also he played for the Denver Broncos. So, do you go friends? Do you go former teammates? Where do you kind of draw that line as to who you root for? So at the end, he did finally say that he'll be rooting for the Denver Broncos because those are his former teammates. He said he wants to see Peyton go out on top and fade into the sunset, which it was interesting. He kind of said it in a way as if he already knew that that was Peyton's plan. So I'll be interested to see what happens there with that. And also, one of my friends got to meet Tim Tebow today, and I was extremely jealous. So There's my Tim Tebow for the week. I hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I certainly enjoyed it. I had to leave the set to hide my smile, I guess, my joy.
Yeah. I actually have.
If you can't disclose who met Tim Tebow, I would like to hear afterwards. Not that I know this person, but I would like to know the circumstances under which they met Tim Tebow.
No, he's covering the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
So he was out there in San Fran with Timmy. But I actually have a Denver Broncos shirt. It's navy blue and it's orange and it says Tebow time with Tebow doing his little Tebowing. So I will be wearing that on Sunday.
Is that what he really did when he didn't go like that, did he?
Yeah, he got like down on his knee and put his head down and went like that. It's Tebowing.
He was praying is what we should go back to the original.
No, this is Tebowing.
Oh boy. This is going to make me try really hard to come up with something to counter your Tim Tebow segment. I'm going to have a segment too. Can I have a segment?
Surely.
I'll have to think of something I like as much as you like. Maybe we should use another word. Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow, a great athlete.
He is a great athlete on the college level.
Maybe we can get him as a guest.
Maybe.
We're gonna work on that one.
That's gonna be the first time you're gonna kick me off.
No, trust me, that will be the Mark show because I probably won't be able to even focus. I will probably fall over. So that will be the Mark show.
Okay. I would love to talk to Tim. I have all the respect in the world for the guy.
And you can put in a good word for me too. So
good word. Yeah, I could work on that. All right. What do you think? Is it time for predictions?
I think it is.
I don't have a prediction, but I'm going to come up with one in the next 30 seconds. So that means you go first.
Okay, so again, our friend Sonoris Moss took the Panthers 24-20 with, he said it's going to be a super close game all the way up until the end, which is all what we all want to see. I'm going to take the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning 21-17.
You're done?
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have some time to kick back here and I've got to feel it. I've got to see, I take this very seriously. You need to find this out right now about me. I take my Super Bowl prediction very seriously. I make picks on all the NFL and college games. I keep a record of it. Yeah, I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. Say whatever you want. Panthers win. Knight Rider says 17-14. Good game. Defensive battle. Wouldn't be surprised. So I take this very seriously. I do my little predictions on video, the whole deal. But when it comes to the Super Bowl, I have a track record of being on the money. So if you go to Mark Rogers TV and look up last year's Super Bowl, and I tweeted it out this week, last year's Super Bowl, the Patriots won 28-24. Macy, guess what I predicted the score to be last year? I can only savor this and brag about this for like 2 more days. So I'm just going to do it.
28-24.
Okay, I wasn't quite that good. I was really, really good. 27-24 Patriots.
Okay.
By 1 point. But I thought you were going to do some big analysis and I had time to think about this.
No, I'm strictly just going off of the Peyton Manning vibe. I think he wants it. He wants to retire maybe, and if he's going to retire, I think he wants to go out on top. So I think that's a little extra motivation and an opportunity that a lot of quarterbacks don't get. You can't say, hey, I'm going to take you to the Super Bowl this year. We're going to win the Super Bowl, and that's going to be that. So I think Peyton has a once-in-a-lifetime shot, and I think he's going to make the best of it.
Well said. And then 2 years ago, the Broncos were a 3-point favorite against the Seahawks, and I took the Seahawks to win by 21. Wasn't quite, they won by 35. Yeah, that was an ugly game. All right, here goes. I'm going to make the disclaimer. I'm going to make the disclaimer that this is not necessarily my official prediction. I still have 3 more days to change it, but it will be recorded somewhere where I can't say, well, I picked this, but so it's going to be somewhere. All right. Here's the deal. The Broncos are too limited by a decent running game and a Peyton Manning who is past his prime. Unfortunately, I can say flat out, I will be rooting for the Broncos to win this game. I would love to see Peyton Manning win another Super Bowl. I think he is great for the NFL. He has been a tremendous ambassador for the sport. I think the guy is first class, first rate all the way. I think you would have to be somebody who never watches football ever to not see the decline in his play. That said, it's not impossible to overcome. The Broncos have built possibly the best defense in the NFL, but Carolina's is close behind. I think the Panthers win because Cam Newton can make some plays in both the passing and running game that Denver can't. I think otherwise the teams are pretty evenly matched. I just think it's going to be extremely difficult for the Broncos to score in this game. So I like Carolina to win 23-17. Asterisk, disclaimer that I may change that pick before Sunday at 6 o'clock. And I will have that on my YouTube channel, Mark Rogers TV. There you go.
All right. Well, I have written them down. If you are still in here, send us your predictions now. I'll write them down. You'll get added to our list, and we can check on Sunday and discuss it next week's show. Maybe someone will be right on the money.
So everybody who's still out there or watches this on record, again, 6:45-ish, we get on here because we're rushing home from work, and we jump on here and we knock out our show every Thursday night at that time. Also, join us on Twitter, Mark and Macy Show. YouTube, it's Mark and Macy. If you look that up, you can find it on YouTube. We've got all our videos there. And please let us know if you want us to talk about something in particular or have a comment or question, even if it's during the week. Join us on Twitter. Let us know there. And if you have any suggestions, again, for topics, let us know as well. We appreciate you jumping on board with us. All right, Macy, I think we've done enough damage.
I think so, too.
See everybody later.